I hope this camera keep going. Doesn't even make sense. They told me we're gonna destroy your career. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
R. Kelly is spending more time in prison after being sentenced federally for child and enticement of minors for. He got 20 years in prison today. He will serve all but one of those years simultaneously with a 30-year sentence for racketeering and trafficking.
I'm very tired of all of the lies. I've been hearing things and seeing things on the blogs, and I'm just tired.
His principal dancer, choreographer, on stage, right next to him. And people have no idea that this man just beat me on the bus. People have no idea.
The downfall of the former R&B icon R. Kelly, who is currently serving prison time for racketeering, bribery, exploitation of a child, and trafficking, is something of folklore. It has been a spectacular crash for the man who was once known as the king of R&B, with a discography that includes more 90s top 40 hits than any other male solo artist. Rumors of Kelly's inappropriate behavior had swirled for years, even making headlines during the peak of his stardom. His questionable behavior first came to light in the mid-90s, when his marriage to fellow R&B artist Aaliyah was dissolved when it was revealed that she was just 15 years out at the time of their wedding. In the early 2000s, the legendary vocalist and prolific songwriter was accused of misconduct, including sex with an underage girl, and in 2002 faced 21 child pornography charges in Illinois. All charges were dropped, but as the years passed, rumors continued to dog the star, along with criminal charges. Finally, in 2018, the documentary R. Kelly, Girls and Videotapes became the first of a series of damaging pieces of investigative journalism that lifted the lid on the singer's young women and girls, leading eventually to his arrest, trial, and Kelly being sentenced to 30 years behind bars in 2022. And according to several reports, his time in prison has not been easy, and some of his close friends and family even doubt if he will make it to the end of his sentence. Though the singer was only formally sentenced in 2022, he has been behind bars since he was first arrested after turning himself into police back in 2019, after which he was held in Chicago's Metropolitan Correctional Center. According to tabloid gossip website TMZ, the following year, Kelly was the victim of a brutal attack by a fellow inmate, gang member Jeremiah Farmer. Farmer allegedly entered the disgraced vocalist's cell and began punching him repeatedly as he slept. It is believed the attack came after the inmate had grown frustrated by repeated prison lockdowns, which came as a result of Kelly protesters demonstrating outside the complex. The singer suffered only minor injuries, but the Chicago Sun-Times later reported that his lawyers said the assault exerted a mental toll on him. In the weeks following the attack, he allegedly experienced paranoia and insomnia, in constant fear that another attack may be around the corner. Other reports also suggest that R. Kelly's time in prison has coincided with a downturn in his physical health, with the notorious singer and his legal team claiming that the treatment he has received behind bars has been inadequate and potentially life-threatening. In a voice recording published by Rap House TV, Kelly discussed a recent procedure he had undergone to remove blood clots from his leg. According to the singer, staff at Chicago's Metropolitan Correctional Center, where he is being held, performed the operation incorrectly. "Somebody miscommunicated or somebody took a guess at what's going on with my leg," he claimed. "I'm not supposed to die this way. You're not even supposed to take a chance on that." He later complained that staff failed to x-ray the affected area and said that the lack of diagnostics left him afraid for his life. Kelly's concerns have been echoed by his lawyer, Jennifer Bonjean, who told ABC 7 Chicago that a lack of adequate medical care is a widespread issue in prisons. The now disgraced hitmaker has continued to be embroiled in legal battles since he was handed his first lengthy prison sentence in 2022. At the time, the Snake singer was held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, where his lawyers claimed he was unlawfully kept on suicide watch. In court documents filed by Kelly's legal team, his lawyers argued that he was being kept on suicide watch as a form of punishment, and that he displayed no evidence of being at risk of dying by suicide. Kelly went on to sue the prison in question. His legal team has also filed multiple appeals against his sentences, which, alongside the 30-year sentence handed down to him in New York, now includes a separate 20-year sentence in Chicago. In April 2024, his appeal against the latter was rejected by the Chicago Appeal Court. Kelly currently remains behind bars, having been transferred to Butner, North Carolina. Well, just recently it emerged that the locked-up superstar was told by prison authorities not to expect any form of privacy. It turns out that the prison officer being sued by R. Kelly has finally addressed his invasion of privacy claims with a bold rebuttal. The defendant denied all allegations of wrongdoings brought against them by the disgraced R&B star, arguing that he did not suffer damages from the incident. The prison officer has reportedly retired since the case broke. Kelly filed a federal lawsuit against the government and prison officials, accusing them of leaking his private information to the blogger Tasha K. The drama between the singer and the retired prison officer began during his stay at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago. He was incarcerated in the facility following his infamous July 2019 arrest, before being moved to a facility in North Carolina last year. In his lawsuit, Kelly claimed that during his stay, prison employees used the internal prison system to assess his emails, visitors, and phone logs. He believed the information was sold to Tasha K., who published it on her platform. The retired officer refuted these allegations in court documents obtained by In Touch, arguing that Kelly was not in a place where he should expect privacy. They claimed he was not harmed and noted their conduct was neither outrageous nor intentional. On that note, the defendant's lawyer implored the court to dismiss Kelly's claims and offer him no compensation for his complaint. The guard's response comes weeks after the government clapped back at the lawsuit. In early August this year, the blast shared that the government had zero plans on fighting against Kelly in court. They addressed his negligence and invasion of privacy claims through their attorney, noting, "The United States is not subject to institutional liability stemming from allegedly widespread negligent practices or policies." The government stressed that they did not fail in their duty to care for Kelly, despite admitting their investigations revealed a prison official had provided Tasha K. with sensitive information. Uncle Sam refused to be held accountable for the leak and asked for the case to be dismissed. Kelly called out the government in his lawsuit for failing to control its Bureau of Prison Officers and allowing them to abuse their power unchecked. In his lawsuit, Kelly slammed the government for allegedly knowing about the BOP officers' crimes but doing nothing to stop them. He tried to hold them accountable for negligence, with part of his claims reading, "The defendant, United States of America, knew that one of the employees and the other prison workers routinely accessed Kelly's private information from its systems and divulged private information to third parties for monetary gain, clout, or simple harassment." The singer, through his lawyers, argued that the prison officials and Tasha K.'s alleged actions not only invaded his privacy, but also significantly harmed his reputation. Their crimes also caused him severe emotional distress. The invasion of privacy lawsuit wasn't the only case Kelly was linked to, with The Blast reporting his ongoing fight for freedom. In July, he requested the dismissal of his convictions for possession of and inducing minors to have. His attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, argued that he was serving time for crimes allegedly occurring from the mid to late 1990s, when the PROTECT Act wasn't passed until 2003. This law made the statute of limitations indefinite for crimes, but a loophole was exploited in Kelly's case. Bonjean argued that the PROTECT Act only applied to crimes committed after it was passed in 2003. Since there was no clause for punishing crimes before the highlighted date, Kelly should not be penalized for his 90s charges. After 11 hours of deliberations in 2022, jurors found Kelly guilty of 6 out of 13 charges, 3 for child and 3 for indecent counts. The infamous child sex trial began in mid-August, with one of the victims being the singer's goddaughter. A gut-wrenching video captured him abusing the then 14-year-old, who claimed he had with her innumerable times. She alleged that the encounters occasionally involved other underage girls whom he urged her to find. But hell broke for Kelly after his now infamous documentary dropped in 2019. When the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly debuted 4 years ago, the singer was a free man. The R&B crooner's career had long been trailed by allegations of abusing underage girls which, as earlier stated, first arose in the early 90s, but he remained one of the most successful hitmakers of that decade and into the 2000s. Also during that time, Kelly was briefly jailed and brought to trial for a 2002 indictment on 21 counts of child. He was acquitted in 2008. Kelly's circumvention of the justice system damaged his career as an artist, but didn't end it. It wasn't until Surviving R. Kelly premiered in early 2019 that public opinion began to change. The series was greenlit prior to the initial impact of the #MeToo movement in October 2017, and was the first programming event of the #MeToo era to give a voice to survivors, ultimately bringing justice from the screen to a court of law. The series centers around Black women's stories, an underrepresented group when it comes to social justice. Today, the singer is serving out a 30-year sentence in prison after being found guilty on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking in 2022. He was also found guilty in Chicago on 3 counts of child for filming himself abusing his then 14-year-old goddaughter. He still faces charges in other jurisdictions. The third and final installment of Surviving R. Kelly centers around the trial that put the award-winning singer behind bars. The episodes follow the survivors and their families as they prepare to testify at the high-profile court proceeding. They also focus on the journalists who covered the trial and other legal and trauma experts. We are in a very different place at the start of this installment than we were over 4 years ago when we started this journey. He's facing some very serious crimes, said executive producer Jesse Daniels, who was involved with Surviving R. Kelly from the start and was actively involved in developing the groundbreaking series. In 2017, Daniels read a BuzzFeed article by Jim DeRogatis, the journalist who broke the R. Kelly dam with a 2000 report in the Chicago Sun-Times, widely credited as the first domino to fall in the singer's empire. Despite that report and video evidence, which was at the center of R. Kelly's 2008 trial, the criminal justice system took decades to catch up to DeRogatis' investigative work and the accounts of survivors. I remember the story made an impact, but after that, nothing really had happened, Daniels says of the 2017 article. At that time, Daniels spoke with his fellow producers and asked why nothing had happened. With that, Surviving R. Kelly was born. That was the inspiration and the motivation to investigate this further, he says. Accusers of Kelly have said he kept them as essentially part of a cult, locked in his home with no access to their families or the outside world. He would groom young women and men who had aspirations to become singers and record them as he forced them in acts. The 6-week trial in 2022 revealed how the singer used employees and intermediaries to lure fans and hopeful singers abusive and controlling conditions, including locking them in rooms without food or access to a bathroom for days. During his 2022 federal trial in New York, Surviving R. Kelly was mentioned 150 times in the courtroom. In the first installment of Surviving R. Kelly, the parents of the victims spoke about trying to get their daughters back home. But one family is still fighting. Joycelyn Savage was 19 years old when she met Kelly, and the two are purportedly engaged. 2 years ago, she released a book where she said she was carrying R. Kelly's child. And months later, she posted a photo of a newborn baby announcing that she welcomed a new baby with the imprisoned R. Kelly, though his attorney has denied her claim. Savage's parents are featured heavily in Surviving R. Kelly, emotionally discussing their fight to reconnect with their daughter. The final installment also introduced a new anonymous accuser who gave a harrowing account of allegedly being and raped by Kelly. The episodes delved into the revelation that the singer abused young boys and gave new details into the widely speculated marriage and annulment of Kelly and then 15-year-old Aaliyah. Toward the end of the first episode, there's an excruciating clip from a 1994 BET Video Soul interview with Kelly and Aaliyah. They slink onto the stage in matching outfits. Aaliyah has a fitted cap pulled low, casting a shadow across her face so that when she's asked questions, it's hard to gauge where she's looking. By this point, age ain't nothing but a number, Her debut album from the same year, which Kelly wrote and produced, had launched her into pop stardom. But she was still a young teenager. Leslie Big Les Seeger, who interviewed them, recounts to the filmmakers what an uneasy situation it was. But curiously, she describes R. Kelly and Aaliyah's evasive answers and matching outfits as their way of manipulating the media machine and dangling candy in front of audiences, as they refused to be forthright about whether they were together or not. In reality, everyone knew about Kelly's behavior. There have been stories circulating in Chicago for years, especially of the singer loitering around high schools picking up girls. He wasn't hiding in plain sight, as Chicago Sun-Times journalist Kathy Cheney and others pronounce in the documentary. If anything, he was flaunting his ability to manipulate and assault a young girl and get a media storm out of it. We were all privy to this. People just didn't care. By saying what R. Kelly did in the 90s was somehow obscured, the people culpable for protecting him off the hook, including several people in the documentary itself. A few people admit to their own complicity. Black radio powerhouse Tom Joyner says he should have stopped playing R. Kelly's music sooner, and a former employee whose identity is hidden reckons with their own guilt. And the filmmakers do touch on the complicity of the black community, the music industry, and the personal figures in Kelly's orbit. But it's mostly done in vague proclamations where they blame fame and money, in the most general terms, for this perpetual cycle. The truth is more damning, unfortunately. Several high-powered pop culture figures, including Dave Chappelle, Lady Gaga, and Jay-Z, the latter two of whom actually collaborated with him, refused to appear in the documentary. Among those who did is music producer Craig Williams, who speaks of seeing younger women in the studio with R. Kelly and other queasy scenarios but never makes a gesture to stop it, a choice he doesn't fully grapple with on camera. In yet another revelation, a former bodyguard and tour manager talks about witnessing the growing abuse of Kelly toward Aaliyah and his own discomfort with what he was witnessing. Yet he still had a hand in forging the documents necessary for them to get married and protected his employer's secrets. Sometimes, the complicity these figures represent isn't direct. When Breakfast Club host and grating black pop culture impresario Charlamagne the God first appears in the docuseries and says, "The most disrespected woman historically in America is the black woman," most people were not impressed. Critics claim that Charlamagne's brand and career are partially built on the degradation of black women, which can readily be found in a cursory Google search. Why didn't the filmmakers ask Charlamagne if R. Kelly's fall and the activism that has sprung up around him led him to reconsider his own treatment of black women? Why didn't the filmmakers push those who were clearly a part of the machine that protected R. Kelly about their own actions? Do they regret their choices? How is all of this representative of the music industry at large, which has struggled to gain momentum the way the film industry has in beginning to combat rampant abuse and harassment? So many questions, yet no answers. It is suggested in the docuseries that the virality of modern activism, with the #MuterKelly movement coinciding with Time's Up and #MeToo, had been the cudgel that finally handicapped Kelly's career, leading Spotify to remove him from playlists, pivotal black radio figures like Tom Joyner pledging to no longer play him, and his own concerts getting canceled in Chicago. But it is more than that. The singer's star has also dimmed, making it easier for audiences and critics to no longer be lulled by the charisma that made them ignore his monstrousness. By far, the hardest section of the docuseries to wrestle with is the testimony of Sparkle, R. Kelly's longtime backup singer and protege. Sparkle speaks in contradictions. She begins by describing Kelly in glowing terms, her face lighting up as she talks about his genius. "He's an all-around nice guy," she proclaims before saying, "Robert is a master manipulator." Sparkle, who testified against the singer during his 2008 trial over child charges, is clearly still making peace with the fact that the man who mentored and nurtured her career is the same man who manipulated and abused her 14-year-old niece, who was featured being urinated on in that infamous tape. That it is referred to so casually throughout the doc as the is a testament to how nonchalant the black community has been and continues to be about the abuse of black girls. Every woman who speaks of her throughout the documentary, each of them labeled as survivors under their names, tells a similar story. How R. Kelly started out as a goofy, open dude whose ease belied his immense stardom, one who shared his own history of abuse at a young age by family members to win their trust. This facade would then give way to orders and isolation of various degrees, separating these women from the people they cared about and their own identities. The women mentioned that they weren't allowed to speak to the people in Kelly's life, but weren't kept hidden. People in his circle knew. So it is jarring to hear Sparkle talk about introducing her then 12-year-old niece to Kelly in order to grow her burgeoning talents. Sparkle even says that she knew to keep her eyes on her niece and never leave her alone in his presence. It's here the docuseries taps into fertile ground that goes unexplored, how Black women internalize messages about their self-worth and are betrayed by those closest to them. Sparkle is never pressed on the admittedly uneasy aspects of this story or why she would risk her niece's safety for the chance at a thriving career. This leads to tensions between the hard work these women are doing being so vulnerable in front of the camera and the hard work the filmmakers aren't doing in asking the complex questions that reveal both the nature of Kelly and how his abuse has persisted for so long. This isn't to say surviving R. Kelly is without merit. Witnessing these women's testimonies is bruising for reasons personal and cultural. Viewers felt a chill when Lizette Martinez, one of the survivors showcased in the film, mentioned meeting him at Aventura Mall, a mall many kids used to frequent growing up in Miami. Viewers were also particularly moved whenever Javante Cunningham, a former background singer of R. Kelly's, appeared on screen. She spoke of being a 14-year-old girl in Kelly's world, becoming close to Aaliyah, and the cataclysmic reaction to finding out firsthand that he was Aaliyah. She's forthright, reflective, and focused, even amid tears. These testimonies are evocative because they provide a face and voice to the abuse, as well as notions of how this world fails Black girls and the rot the Black community must face in order to make sure men like R. Kelly don't evade justice. In its final episodes, Surviving R. Kelly swerves into surprising territory that turns its uneasy, exploitative sheen into a glaring issue and lays bare its journalistic failures. Jim DeRogatis, the Chicago journalist who has been covering Kelly's brutality for 18 years, was not a part of Surviving R. Kelly, as he's making his own documentary, but his absence only highlights the narrative and journalistic holes. In Episode 5, viewers watched as Michelle Gardner desperately searched for her daughter, Dominique, who met Kelly at 17 and hadn't been seen by her family for about a year, as she was suspected of being in what has been deemed the singer's cult. At that time, Michelle had only seen her daughter when a TMZ video, in which she hovers near the edge of the frame, was released. The camera crew followed Michelle as she searched hotels for Dominique. At one point, she huddled in a corner crying and her back turned to the camera, but she's given no privacy for the devastation she experiences. When Michelle finally does find her daughter, the cameras stay on her until she implores them to stop following them, as Dominique is uncomfortable with their presence. Similarly uncomfortable is the story of Alice and Angelo Clary, who are followed by filmmakers as they travel to a Chicago recording studio that they learn may be housing their daughter, Azriel, also allegedly part of the same cult. The results aren't as uplifting. It is heartbreaking and uncomfortable to witness these two parents as they scream from the street and throw rocks at windows, imploring their daughter, who they aren't even sure is in the building, to come out. Kelly has sold an estimated 100 million records, and despite his legal woes, he remains one of the dominant voices in R&B. So one thing is clear. Despite his obviously tainted image, the man is a master when it comes to his art. The singer, born Robert Sylvester Kelly on January 8, 1967, is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer. His music career spans over 3 decades, and he has achieved both critical acclaim and commercial success. From his early beginnings in Chicago to his rise as one of R&B's most influential artists, R. Kelly's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Kelly's musical journey began in the late 1980s when he formed the group Public Announcement. Their debut album, Born into the 90s, was released in 1992 and produced several hit singles, including the chart-topping She's Got That Vibe. This early success showcased Kelly's unique blend of soul, R&B, and hip-hop and set the stage for his solo career. In 1993, he released his debut solo album, 12 Play, which spawned the iconic singles Bumpin' Grind and Your Body's Callin'. These sensual and provocative tracks established Kelly as a master of contemporary R&B and propelled him to stardom. Throughout his career, R. Kelly has released numerous hit songs that have dominated the charts and captivated audiences worldwide. His discography includes iconic tracks such as I Believe I Can Fly, which served as the theme song for the 1996 film Space Jam and earned him 3 Grammy Awards. Other notable hits include Ignition Remix, Step in the Name of Love, and Trapped in the Closet. Kelly's ability to craft infectious melodies, coupled with his smooth vocals and captivating stage presence, solidified his status as one of the most successful artists in contemporary music. His musical achievements extend beyond chart success. He has written and produced songs for numerous artists, including Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Celine Dion. His collaboration with Jay-Z on the album The Best of Both Worlds further showcased his versatility as an artist and his ability to blend genres seamlessly. Additionally, Kelly's contributions to the soundtrack of the Broadway musical Chicago earned him a Grammy Award for Best Song Written for Visual Media. These achievements cemented his reputation as a prolific songwriter and producer in the music industry. His music has garnered a dedicated fan base that spans generations. His soulful voice, relatable lyrics, and ability to evoke emotions have resonated with listeners around the world. Kelly's music has the power to transport audiences to a place of nostalgia, reminiscing about past loves and personal experiences. His ability to connect with his fans on such a deep level has contributed to his long-lasting influence in the music industry until, of course, his unwanted side became known. Moreover, R. Kelly's impact extends beyond his own artistry. His unique sound and style have influenced countless artists, shaping the landscape of contemporary R&B and hip-hop. Artists such as Usher, Chris Brown, and Trey Songz have cited him as a major inspiration. Kelly's innovative approach to blending genres and pushing musical boundaries has left an indelible mark on the industry, further solidifying his status as a music icon. In addition to his solo career, R. Kelly has collaborated with a wide range of artists, further showcasing his versatility as a musician. His collaborations include duets with renowned artists such as Mariah Carey, Snoop Dogg, and Lady Gaga. These collaborations not only expanded his fan base, but also allowed him to explore different musical styles and experiment with new sounds. His contributions to the music industry go beyond his own discography. He has been involved in various charitable endeavors, using his platform to raise awareness and support important causes. One notable example is his involvement in the Song for Sudan project, which aimed to raise funds for the victims of the Darfur conflict. Kelly's willingness to use his talent and influence for the greater good highlights his commitment to making a positive impact through music. Throughout his career, the singer has received numerous awards and accolades for his contributions to the music industry. He has won 3 Grammy Awards, including Best Male R&B Vocal Performance and Best Song Written for Visual Media. Kelly has also been recognized with the American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and BT Awards, among others. These accolades not only acknowledge his talent, but also serve as a testament to his enduring impact on the music industry. Despite his undeniable talent and success, Kelly's career has been plagued by media challenges and controversies. Throughout the years, he has faced criticism for his explicit lyrics, often addressing topics of relationships. His provocative music videos and explicit stage performances have sparked debates about the appropriateness of his content. While some argue that his artistry pushes boundaries and challenges societal norms, others have accused him of promoting misogyny and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Following his arrest, trial, and subsequent sentencing, R. Kelly's music career has been significantly impacted. The controversies surrounding his personal life have led to a widespread boycott of his music, with radio stations refusing to play his songs and streaming platforms removing his music from their playlists. Concert promoters have canceled his shows, and collaborations with other artists have been put on hold or canceled altogether. the public backlash against Kelly has been swift and relentless, with many calling for his music to be completely erased from the industry. The impact on his music career goes beyond industry repercussions. R. Kelly's once loyal fan base has been divided, with some die-hard supporters choosing to separate the artist from his alleged crimes, while others have disavowed him completely. The ongoing legal battles and the guilty verdict have forever tainted his legacy, making it nearly impossible for him to reclaim his former status as an influential figure in the music industry. The controversies surrounding R. Kelly have not only divided the public, but have also prompted reactions from celebrities and industry insiders. Many artists, including John Legend, Chance the Rapper, and Lady Gaga, have spoken out against Kelly and expressed their support for the victims. Their comments have sparked important conversations about the responsibility of artists to denounce abusive behavior within the industry. However, there are also those who have remained silent or even defended R. Kelly. Some celebrities have expressed their reluctance to condemn him without concrete evidence, while others believe in separating the artist from his personal life. These differing opinions highlight the complexities of the issue and the ongoing debates surrounding the singer's music career. Overall, R. Kelly's music career is undoubtedly a tale of triumph, filled with chart-topping hits, critical acclaim, and influential contributions to the music industry. However, it is also a story of controversy, marred by allegations of conduct and legal battles. The legacy of Kelly will forever be intertwined with these controversies, raising important questions about art, accountability, and the role of the music industry in addressing allegations of abuse. As the debate surrounding R. Kelly's music career continues, it is crucial to acknowledge the experiences of the alleged victims and to support their quest for justice. It is also essential to critically examine the power dynamics within the music industry and to hold artists accountable for their actions. Ultimately, the journey of a troubled genius like R. Kelly serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and moral dilemmas that can arise when separating the art from the artist. That said, would you find it easy to separate the art from the person? Let us know in the comment section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time. Thank you for watching.